This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. MNC. On News Talk 95.3, 101.9 FM, and 1340 AM, your MNC Nation station.
Good morning. I'm John Zimney in the MNC News Center. Welcome to Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024. And the news getting started now with our top local stories on Michiana's Morning News. A SWAT situation ended with police finding a man and a woman dead inside of a home on Huron Street in Goshen.
It was around 3:45 Wednesday afternoon when Goshen police were sent to Huron Street after receiving notice about a victim with an alleged self-inflicted gunshot wound. When they arrived, officers were made aware of a man and two young children in the home. The man displayed a weapon, and as officers retreated, they removed both children. The Elkhart County Regional SWAT team was called in to help, but lost communication with the man. They eventually entered the home to find two people dead. One was an approximately 36-year-old woman, and the other was an approximately 41-year-old man. Victor Garcia, MNC News.
A fight about food that led to gunfire has now landed a Marcellus man who shot his girlfriend's brother in prison.
23-year-old Anthony Sove pleaded guilty to assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, and was sentenced to 29 months to 10 years in order to pay more than $4,000 in court fees and restitution. It was a fight over a steak back in January with his girlfriend that led to Sove pulling a gun and shooting the girlfriend's brother when he tried to intervene. Leader Publications reports the man was shot at least 3 times in the abdomen, spent a week in the hospital, and still suffers from nerve damage.
The remains of another man believed to have been killed by the Hoosier serial killer Herb Baumeister have been identified.
The Hamilton County Coroner's Office says the remains of Jeffrey Jones were recently identified. Jones went missing in 1993. Police believe Baumeister mainly lured gay men to his home, Fox Hollow Farm, in the 80s and 90s, where he killed them and got rid of their bodies. In recent years, some of the other bodies found on the property have also been identified thanks to DNA technology. Sasha Nixon, Network Indiana.
A man on a moped died after being struck by a vehicle. It happened early Wednesday morning on Bainbridge Center Road and Terrestrial Road. Berrien County Sheriff's investigators say the moped, driven by a 44-year-old, was headed southbound and failed to stop for a stop sign and was struck by a Chevy Tahoe. The driver of the moped died at the scene. The occupants inside the Chevy were not hurt. A Buchanan woman trying to avoid driving into a tree in the roadway ended up crashing into another tree. Happened just after 1:30 yesterday morning on Marcellus Highway in Wayne Township. Cass County Sheriff's deputies say the 28-year-old woman lost control of her vehicle while swerving, which caused the collision. She was taken to Niles Hospital for treatment and minor injuries. And as race fans gather for the Indianapolis 500, Attorney General Todd Rokita is urging attendees to stay vigilant for signs of human trafficking.
Large events like the Indy 500 can create increased demand for trafficked individuals, including those providing manual labor or sex for hire. Rokita emphasizes that it's everyone's responsibility to report suspicious activity.
Believe it or not, human traffickers can prey on anyone, regardless of their age, their race, or even background. It's up to all of us to play a role in shutting down this devastating criminal enterprise.
If you suspect someone is a victim, contact local law enforcement or the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888.
State of Michigan will have over 230,000 more people in the next decade, but then decline by 128,000 from the years 2034 to 2050.
Michigan's population is expected to drop by about 700,000 in 26 years. Jacqueline Butler with the Michigan Center for Data and Analytics says in addition to people migrating out of the state and lower fertility rates, increasing death rates will contribute to the decline.
In Michigan, as we have this very large birth cohort, the baby boomers birth cohort, baby boom was pronounced in Michigan, even compared to the nation as a whole, which also experienced a baby boom, moving into older age years, high mortality years.
The report says there are now more Michigan residents age 55 and older than residents under 25. Heather Starr, MNC News.
And you ever consider a self-driving car? Well, an Indiana senator thinks you should in the name of road safety.
Every year, thousands of lives are tragically cut short due to vehicle crashes.
And Senator Todd Young says human error is to blame for most of those crashes. Speaking to a Senate committee on Tuesday, he said autonomous vehicles are a way to solve that.
Unlike human drivers, autonomous vehicles do not get distracted, tired, or impaired.
He urged fellow lawmakers to push for legislation to help along innovation of self-driving cars in order to build public trust in them. Kurt Darling, Network Indiana.
2nd District Congressman Rudy Yoakum's introduced what he calls the No Debt Forgiveness or Spoiled Students Act.
It's legislation that prevents students and faculty who are expelled or fired for participating in pro-Hamas, anti-American protests on college campuses from having their student loans forgiven. Yoakum introduced it due to the many protests happening on college campuses recently. He issued a statement saying not one red cent of taxpayer dollars should be going to pay for those who want to waste an education so they can indulge themselves in the spirit of radical chic. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
A flight attendant and 2 Indiana bankers have been accused of being involved in a Chicago drug trafficking operation. The defendants have been charged with assisting Mexican drug traffickers to move thousands of kilos of cocaine in the U.S. and laundering tens of millions of dollars. Investigators say Glennis Zapata of Lafayette used her access as a flight attendant to help transport drug money on commercial flights. Her 2 co-defendants were indicted for helping to launder money. A passenger in the stolen vehicle that hit and killed an Indiana state trooper has now reached a plea agreement.
Demarion Curry, 19 of Missouri, was a passenger in a stolen vehicle that fatally hit Trooper Aaron Smith in June 2023 during a pursuit through Hendricks County. The driver of the SUV, Eddie Jones, also from Missouri, still faces a murder charge. Investigators believe that he intentionally hit Smith with the stolen car. His trial is slated for October 15th. Prosecutors are seeking life without parole for Jones. Sentencing for Curry is set for June. Wes Woodward, Network Indiana.
Turning to the health news file this morning, a Michigan dairy worker has been diagnosed with bird flu, marking the 2nd U.S. case linked to an outbreak in dairy cows. The patient had mild eye symptoms and has recovered. The worker had contact with the infected cows. It's the first case you might remember happened back in late March. We reported when a Texas farm worker was diagnosed. That patient also experienced eye inflammation but has recovered. The city of Napanese announced the return of its annual City Chats series.
It'll provide residents with opportunities to engage directly with Mayor Jenkins. Kicking off on May 23rd with a City Hall open house, residents are invited to join Jenkins and city department heads for casual conversations and discussions. The chats coincide with Napanese sesquicentennial celebration. Throughout the summer and fall, residents can look forward to more opportunities to chat with Mayor Jenkins, including a friendly putting challenge at McCormick Creek Golf Course on July 27th. Victor Garcia, MNC News.
And a reminder that Elkhart Mayor Rod Robertson will deliver his annual State of the City address tonight at 6:30 at the Crystal Ballroom at the Lerner Theater. Robertson will address key highlights of the past year as well as talk about the path forward, including some developments through the city's Aspire program. The event is open to the public. The doors open at 6 o'clock.
Mostly sunny skies today and very comfortable. We'll see high temperatures around 78. The winds will be much lighter out of the south at about 5 miles an hour. As we head into tonight, we'll be clear and comfortable, drop down to 58. And then for Friday, partly sunny in the morning, chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. High temperatures back up right around 80. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
You can get the morning's top local news stories on demand by subscribing to the Local News Podcast. Just go to 953mnc.com, click where it says on demand.
Podcasts by Federated Media.